episode 36, and this week, a lot of news updates that we have to get through. Hey, and welcome to the Learn Cardano podcast, the podcast where we break down all the ins and outs of Cardano so that you know exactly what's going on in the Cardano ecosystem. This week, I have a massive news roundup of all these things that are happening in the Cardano ecosystem at the moment. There is a lot of action and a lot of happenings on the testnet at the moment. dApps are launching, projects are launching, projects are refactoring and refining their code, getting audited, and everything is happening right now on the Cardano blockchain on testnet. If you haven't seen any of these things, you can check out all the videos that I've been putting together on YouTube of all of these projects that are on testnet at the moment and almost about to launch. So I'm really excited. I've got a lot to get through this week. Now, if you haven't yet left a rating and review on the Apple iTunes store or on any podcast network, please make sure you do. It really helps the discoverability of this podcast and keeps the podcast going. So please make sure you leave us that 5-star rating and review. Give us some feedback. Contact us on our website. We'd love to hear from you. But let's get into the news updates for this week. Wowee. Okay, we have a lot of news updates coming through this week. And the first one is from DC Spark. So they are building a sidechain protocol for Cardano called Milkomeda. This sidechain allows you to run Ethereum smart contracts on the side, but run it in parallel to Cardano so that you can actually interact with it from the Cardano blockchain and run those Ethereum smart contracts. Why would you do that? This sounds like a Frankenstein solution. It is because the Ethereum ecosystem is so well advanced in regards to the amount of developers there are, the maturity that's there. There's a lot of tooling and mechanisms to audit your code and make it really quick and easy to deploy a smart contract on Ethereum. It's been around for a good 3 years, so it's or even longer actually, I should say. But smart contracts on Ethereum have been around for a long time, and there are plenty of developers over there. So in terms of opening up the Cardano blockchain to Ethereum, it means that we can have this massive influx of developers that come over onto Cardano. We've seen this with other Ethereum-based or EVM-based blockchains that have spun off and created their own blockchains based on the Ethereum code, the EVM, the Ethereum virtual machine. And we've seen chains like Binance Smart Chain appear, and all of these DEXs that were originally on Ethereum get ported over to Binance Smart Chain. So over on Ethereum, you had Uniswap, and then suddenly you have PancakeSwap on the Binance Smart Chain. And it's just a replica of Uniswap, which is sure, fair enough. That's open source code. You can do that. Now, if that happened to Cardano, we'll see a whole bunch of new solutions come over from the Ethereum ecosystem over to Cardano, and we'll see an influx of developers that are wanting to escape the issues that are happening on Ethereum, mainly the gas fees. So Ethereum projects are launching over there. They're doing some amazing things. But to get people into the ecosystem, especially new people, there's that massive barrier to entry where you need to pay for those gas fees. So if you're a new investor and you wanted to get into DeFi and you wanted to put in $100 USD and buy a little bit of Ethereum on a DEX, you probably have to pay $140 in gas fees to actually make that transaction happen. So that's a huge barrier of entry for anyone new to the DeFi protocols. So to get around that, let's move it over to Cardano. Have the same solution that you've spent years writing on the Ethereum blockchain, port it over to Cardano, and hey presto, you have low transaction fees, you have high scalability, you have the interoperability with other chains, which is coming as well. So it's a really cool and smart way of approaching things to gain those developers. So Milkomeda is a solution that we need to be watching for and learning exactly what happens there. The next project is something that IOG have been working on for a little while, and this is the AGIX ERC20 Converter. It's now live on testnet and is being tested by many people to ensure that it works and it all happens. So AGIX is the token of the Singularity Net project. So it's a marketplace for AI, and they're doing some really cool, amazing things, but they're converting their project from Ethereum over to Cardano. So this is the perfect use case for all of this. Everything from Milkomeda, what they're doing, all the way to the ERC20 Converter. So now in this process, you can go to the Ethereum testnet with your AGI tokens, lock them into a smart contract, and then convert them over to AGIX tokens on the Cardano Testnet blockchain. So we can see that entire workflow go through. You have your AGI tokens locked in and you won't be able to use them anymore, and convert it over to the Cardano equivalent version. So if you're moving over 2,000 AGI tokens, you get 2,000 AGIX tokens, which is equivalent on the Cardano blockchain. Of course, you have to pay for some gas fees along the way, but as soon as you're in that Cardano ecosystem, you don't need to worry about that anymore. The gas fees, the transaction fees, I should say, are so low, so minuscule at the moment that it doesn't really matter. So this is all on testnet at the moment, and I'm really excited to see this happen and come through. These are two particular projects that have come together at the right time to give all of these other ecosystem developers on Ethereum an ability, a gateway, a chance to build really cool and amazing dApps on the Cardano blockchain. We should see in 2022 a massive influx of developers coming over to Cardano. Now, the SundaeSwap team have more updates and developments, and they have come up with an interesting way of determining the price of their token. Now, they aren't doing this and pulling a number out of thin air and saying that's the price of our token. On launch, that's what it will be. And then the market will work it out with their market makers and the users swapping within the liquidity pool. Instead of taking that approach, they've decided to put in 7% of their community supply of the token, which be locked into a smart contract. This smart contract is called the taste test. So users will be able to deposit ADA or their Sundae tokens that they'll get as a reward from the ISO into this same smart contract, but no swapping will happen. People will be able to provide their liquidity in, and users can still take out their tokens, which is totally fine. And that is the key. So what they're trying to do here is allow the market to discover what the price is without impacting anyone's actual holdings. So you'll be able to put in the liquidity to these particular pools, and that will determine the price. So if you have 1,000 ADA in and you have 1,000 SundaeSwap tokens in, then you know the price is 1-to-1 ratio. So it might increase with 2,000 Sundae tokens and 1,000 ADA tokens, so that now you know that for every ADA token, you get 2 Sundae tokens. So it will work out their price that way. Now, if the market decides that that price differentiation is not right, it's not worth having the liquidity in there, you can take it out. Now, this will happen over a 10-day period. So you'll see this big fluctuation in the deterministic price of what it might be, but nothing will be locked in. So you can pull it in, pull it out, and wait for the final price. And if you're happy with it, you can lock in your tokens, and that liquidity pool would be established at that initial price of token. And that's over a 10-day period. Normally, when you see a token price launch or even a share price launch on an IPO on the stock exchange, you see this fluctuation of the price. You have underwriters jumping in and trying to determine what the value of the company is, and that will determine the price of the launch of the share price. But in this case, we don't have that type of mechanism. We don't have an underwriter to determine what the price is and do it that way. Plus, this isn't a security token. It's purely a utility token. So there's no regulation that is behind this, or they're trying to avoid the regulation, I should say. So this is allowing the market to determine the price over that 10-day period. And I think it's an absolutely brilliant idea and really good way of doing it. Any other token launches that have happened in the past, you always see the token price rise up with the market demand going in instantaneously and driving that price up. And then those unsure and wary holders immediately dump all their coins. So you see the pump and dump scenario. And I could see them wanting to do this to ensure that it didn't look like that they were releasing their own holdings and their own tokens into the ecosystem as well, and then just taking the profits off the top while everyone else was moving in. It essentially would look like a rug pull if they were doing that, and that is something that they want to avoid. Even if it's not really a rug pull, it's essentially the market just moving up and down. It fluctuates. That's just how it happens. So it's a really good way of avoiding all that situation and letting the market determine the price. SundaeSwap, congratulations on another brilliant idea. I'm really looking forward to this particular project to launch and finally get a fully fledged working DEX on the Cardano ecosystem. Other things that are launching on the Cardano ecosystem at the moment, one of them is a really cool project that I've been waiting for a little while, and it's called ADAHandle. ADAHandle allows you to have a vanity address as opposed to that really long string of addresses. So I can have Peter. So @Peter. Yeah, just that. And if you want to send me ADA, I'll say, hey, just send it to @Peter. Just type that into your wallet address and it will come to me. And that is a really cool, great way of doing a transfer with something that's memorable, something that is readable and human readable. So it's really just a mask of what your address is, but ADAHandle will allow you to do that. So I've gone through and played around with the testnet version of this, and I've bought a couple of ADAHandles through it, and it works flawlessly. The guys have spent quite a long time refactoring their code, working through their launch process, and really studying how that whole thing works and making it work really, really well. So congratulations to the ADAHandle team. Their beta sale launch, it's happening very, very soon. So hopefully you've heard this podcast episode and you know to be ready for this. It's going to be very, very popular. They've formed many partnerships as well, and I'm looking forward to this project. Another project that is messing around or launching on testnet at the moment is Cardahub. So I've done videos on this before. You can check out the YouTube channel to find out how to create and mint your own NFT on Cardahub. But the next part of their project is launching on testnet at the moment, and this is the marketplace. So the marketplace will allow you to buy and sell NFTs directly through smart contracts. And I did a video on this. You can check it out on our YouTube channel, where I go through the process of buying a couple of random NFTs on their marketplace and then relisting them for a higher price. So if you in the future may want to speculate in NFTs, you may find something of high value that's selling at a very low price. You can use the Cardahub website to hunt down those NFTs on their marketplace, buy them up, and then sell them at the actual valued price. Then probably you could do some marketing behind it, tweet it out to your followers, put it on social media, whatever it might be, drum up some excitement, and then sell it for a higher price. So that's the basic flipping of an NFT. Very, very cool way of doing it on Cardahub. It's all done via smart contracts and works instantaneously. So make sure you check out that project. It's really cool. They're going through testnet at the moment, and you can get to it at stage.cardahub.io. You can use your test data on there, get familiar with how the whole process of buying and selling tokens, NFTs works on their platform. It's a really cool platform. Looks really slick. Very well done. Now, some projects are ending at the moment. So we've got projects that are starting, but projects that are ending, and that's the Meld ISPO. So this is the Meld initial stake pool offering. It's finally come to an end. They went on for an extra epoch to raise funds for the Veritree Cardano Global Impact Challenge, and they have raised quite a lot of ADA actually in that last epoch period, and it's a really cool initiative that they did. But I also did a video on this and a very long blog post that you can find on our website at cardano.com.au that talks about all of the other ISPOs that are happening at the moment. So if you're into the Meld ISPO, you can look at all these other ISPOs that are on at the moment and work out what project you might want to support next. So there's a whole bunch here from ADA to Mercadex, Flick2 ISPO, the Ray Network, SundaeSwap, of course, the Empower ISPO, Maladex, and many, many more. I'll do a further update for some of these projects I did miss and people told me about afterwards as well. But don't forget, you can always delegate to a mission-driven pool, such as ourselves. We have our own stake pool, ADAOz, and we provide all of these news updates, educational content, and much, much more for the Cardano ecosystem. So everything that you need to learn about Cardano, we produce. And if you want to support our channel and support our content, please consider delegating to our stake pool, ADAOz. Now, I also did an interview with the team from Veritree, Ken Oling from Meld, and also Jeremy Furster from the Cardano Foundation about that final epoch and a little bit more about Veritree as well. So please check out that video on our YouTube channel. It is a pretty cool video that talks all about what Veritree is and what that final epoch meant for Veritree. Now, over the last weekend, a very interesting development came out, and this was all around what's called dual leaders. So dual leaders is a situation where a stake pool that has two block producing nodes running at the same time produces two of the same blocks that they were assigned and creates a mini micro fork on the Cardano blockchain. So this does happen and is a normal part of the protocol because as more and more stake pools expand out in the ecosystem, two stake pools may be assigned the same block and they'll produce the same block, and what occurs is a slot battle. So one of these pools is going to lose this particular slot battle and the other one will continue, and their chain is the correct and authentic one, whereas the other one will become disregarded. But if any other stake pool picked that one up and minted their block on it, their block will be what's called orphaned and won't exist on the Cardano blockchain. And unfortunately, they also lose their rewards. Now, what has been found over the weekend by Andrew Westberg is that some people were doing this deliberately. You can actually set up two block producers from the same stake pool and then split and fork the blockchain continuously over and over, causing many other subsequent pools that are minting blocks after you to lose their block rewards. Now, if you were doing this en masse and you had a whole network of stake pools doing this, you could detrimentally damage the Cardano blockchain quite badly. But from the looks of it, a lot of this was accidental. A lot of the really big stake pool operators out there do a lot of maintenance on their nodes and require them to have double block producers at some point in time. Usually the window of this double block producer is usually under a minute, and you may see one block produced or two blocks produced, and that'll be it. And then the maintenance can continue and occur, and the secondary block producer is turned off. But in this case, some of these block producers were minting multiple blocks continuously for a long time, and that's not what you want to see because it's continuously forking the blockchain. Now, I always thought that you get penalized for this. I thought you lose your rewards or you don't get as many blocks allocated to you next time. That's not the case. It's actually something that the community needs to monitor, police, and look after. And thankfully, this was brought up. And now a lot of other community members have stepped in with some ideas that were actually put forward in 2019 and now being looked at again, which is really cool. But also some monitoring tools so that we can now know and look at if this ever happens again, we can highlight the pools, we can call them out and say, hey, there's something wrong with this setup here. Maybe you should do something about it. And then maybe it's a accidental maintenance thing and they can fix it straight away. So that's what is now out, and hopefully we can fix that up so there's less of these orphaned blocks on the Cardano blockchain. Andrew Westberg did do a really cool video that explains the entire process. So it talks about how the bigger stake pools need the redundancy of their block producer so that it can ensure that blocks are always produced. And he talks about this on his channel called Nerd Out, and the video is titled Dual Leaders. Again, links to it in the show notes. Now, in some more happier news and some more interesting NFT stuff, the Claymates project have a display ad on top of NASDAQ. So not to let Space Buds get all the glory, Claymates have now done the same thing and put up a massive billboard in Times Square above the NASDAQ sign. So that's really cool. It's I'll post a link to it on the show notes. So if you want to check it out and see what it was like, it's a fully video animated thing. It's pretty cool to see. Now, talking about NFTs, we had our own NFT drop that we helped out with for the Ronin Universe project. So we've been building out their website, building some tools for their community, and one of them was the minting page process. So any of these minting pages, you can put up the address for minting, and when the minting time comes, community goes in there, grabs that particular address, sends ADA to it, and in return, they'll get their NFT. So we didn't do the vending machine, the minting process, but we did build the website components to it. We built in a couple of recapture things, so anti-blocked measures, so bots, I should say, couldn't come in and just wipe the project clean of the NFTs. You had to go through that recapture process. So it slowed bots down, slowed people down a little bit so that it was a little bit fairer and more people can get through that process. So a couple of things we did learn through that, and we will make some improvements on our plugin. The plugin is called Cardano Press. We finally came up with a name for it, and there is a public GitHub repo for it as well. You can find it under GitHub, type in Cardano Press. Hopefully it comes up. I actually hate the SEO and search optimization of GitHub. You never find anything when you want it. But hopefully you can. I'll, again, put links to it in the show notes. Now, this really interesting article that was put up by the MinSwap team talks about their FISO rewards distribution and collection. So now you can actually claim your FISO rewards, your fair initial stake offering rewards, for staking at their partner pools that they went through for, I can't remember how many epochs it was, but it was quite a long period of time to distribute their tokens. So now you can go through and claim all these tokens that you will get from their protocol or to use on their DEX. It's a really quick and easy process. I did a video on it. Again, links down below in the description. You can find out more about that claiming process and how to claim your MinSwap tokens. Now, to round this up, there are some really cool NFT projects, some really cool mission-driven ones. One of them is called Reforest Nation. It's about tree planting and reforesting the world. It's a really cool project. Links are in the show notes. They have a really cool NFT collection that they're putting out, and a couple of competitions they're running as well to promote it. So please check out Reforest Nation. Really cool project. Another cool NFT project that I've been following is Threefold Bold. This stuff I love. It's not only that really amazing graphical art that is being put together, but also an audio interactive experience and also video experience. They're combining all sorts of media together in one space, and it is absolutely stunning. Some of the things, it's kind of mind-bending. Absolutely love it. I know, it's really hard to describe over an audio podcast, these visual NFTs. Check out the links down below and check out the show notes, and you will see exactly what I'm talking about. It is some really cool, trippy stuff. I absolutely love it. I managed to get one of the NFTs as well, and it's now in my collection, and it'll be one that I will not be selling. The last project that I'd like to mention here is Bookmasher. Bookmasher is an artist. She is making some absolutely amazing, beautiful, I think they're watercolors. I can't tell. It kind of looks like watercolors, but the colors are so vivid. The illustrations, the portraits that she does are absolutely stunning. Again, check out the links to it in the show notes. It's the audio podcast just doesn't do it justice. So that's it for the news roundup for this week. Like I said, there are so many things that I had to go through. I have no idea how long this recording has gone for, but I think I've probably put you through enough of the news updates. There's a lot of stuff happening in the Cardano ecosystem. Now, if you really enjoyed this podcast episode, please make sure you give us that 5-star rating or review on the Apple Podcast Network or anywhere where you're consuming this podcast. Really helps with the show, really helps with discoverability, and it allows other people to learn more about the Cardano ecosystem. Now, until next time, everyone, please make sure you keep your seed phrases safe and secure. Keep them backed up. Okay, bye.
Yeah, gotta do it like that. You've been listening to the Learn Cardano podcast. Gotta get it hype. Crypto is what we like, but this is not investment or financial advice. Gotta do your research, cause it's risky. We know it is. This show is educational and it's informative. Crypto's the future, really, it ain't no debating. IOHK, Emergo, we're not affiliated, not Cardano Foundation. We just gotta say it. A show that you can learn and it's for your entertainment. Yeah, you gotta check it. Don't wanna be missing that. You were tuned in to the Learn Cardano podcast. Yeah, giving insight. Ain't another show like this when it come to crypto. Invest at your own risk. Might not be for everyone, but who it is for, we keep giving you some info and plenty more. Hey, yeah, the Learn Cardano podcast. Hey, yeah, the Learn Cardano podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Keep it locked right here. Let's go.